All right, Taurus. So this looks to be quite an emotional reading. As I'm starting to say that, my eyes started tearing up. I've been looking at it kind of like this King of Winds here, right? I was kind of detached from it, just kind of looking at it. And as soon as I said that, I started like tearing up. So, the tower here is in the past. And I definitely feel like, this could be a breakup. This could have been the moment that you met someone, because I do see, with this stuff showing up at the bottom here, and this is like with Pluto here. All right, this stuff at the bottom is like major, with the deer and the elk. Two of fire, which is two of wands. I'm really getting that you've met a deep soulmate, if not a twin flame. Take that as it resonates, and that can be a tower moment, right? That's like your heart exploding. Or it could have been both, right? It's like, I feel like there's something recently that's happened as well, because we have, and it might be just that this is coming up again, because, and I'm just going to go this way because that's just how I feel like I need to do it. But this first week, and of course this is also the overall energy, but Venus in Scorpio is making, and this is scorpionic energy. This is, both of the Venus, right? Love, and Scorpio, deep, intense, right? And it's making these sextiles to those planets in Capricorn. So I feel like this is bringing up some big stuff, right? One of those is Pluto. And, I think that it's really, this is water upon water. This is pretty intense feelings. And, you're putting your hand in it here. It seems to be a mentor here. And, right, this, like this, even this, right? This splitting. It's matching these colors here. It's coming out of this, skull's mouth. And I almost feel like and it's looking at this owl here. And if there isn't someone in your life that you trust as, a mentor, someone you can talk to, as someone that gives good advice, or what have you. This is you talking to God, right? This is transformative. And I feel, you can see it in all of this. So I'll go ahead and move on here. This is the heart of this reading. Everything is centered around this. And I feel like this is this separation of souls, right? This is one soul that got split in two. And you are torn about this, right? This, and just these colors here just tell so much of this story, right? It's like they go right in through here. And I'm looking at this Three of Tides. And I feel like, there's an outside influence possibly that's causing you to feel torn about this, or, it's like your shadow self, right? Because it looks to me like this horse is whispering in this horse's ear. He's kind of got that side eye glance going, like looking at someone else while he's whispering some gossip here. And yeah, this horse, which may be the deer here, right, just seems completely unaware, blissful. And I feel like, you know, when this is like when these two join together, right? When the shadow and the light join together, when these two fuse together, then we can be, you know, in that joy again. And I do think that this happens, right? This breakthrough, this kitty cats happens during this period of time, you know, because I see this elk here looking at this solar eclipse, and it's, you know, the antenna, right? Your antenna, your antlers here that are, you know, all this growth that you've done during this time period. It's like setting you aflame. You're really feeling it. And this is the change, right? The eclipses bring about change. Doing away with the old and bringing in the new. And, you know, I see all these birds, and he's got these bat wings, and there's this wing here, and this, you know, these guys even have what looks like almost wings, right? And I feel like you're looking at this transformation, you're looking at this change that's happening in your life, and you're trying to be very, you know, almost detached about it, right? And all that's going on around us, and trying to see clearly. You know, bats, he's got these bat wings on. And bats, though some of them can see, some of them can't, you know, they use other senses more, right? You can't trust what you see at this time. So you've got to, you know, and that's what you're doing with the water element here as well. Putting out the feelers, right? I'm seeing these feelers all over the place. Even this guy, his hair's like going up into the heavens. You know, and the King of Tides here is feeling, right? Learning from his emotions. So there's definitely this, you know, knowing that you can't necessarily trust what you're being told, right? And I think this is really good energy here. I don't know exactly, you know, how well you're doing with it. I think you are doing pretty well. You know, we have this mentor as the overall energy, and it's like you're connecting with the cosmos and you're being protected. This time frame, it has, you know, it's a time where you can learn from everything, process everything that's going on, right? With the Seven of Gardens, it's like taking a pause. Saturn in Taurus. Yeah, I think you're making plans. You're reevaluating things, right? How, and this looks like a turtle to me. And when I was doing looking over this, I stopped for a second and wanted to really get a feel for what was going on. I asked for a vision, and I saw eggs, and then I saw the bull, right? Taurus. And I saw Taurus stamping on the eggs, and then I saw him cradling eggs in his horns, right? Like this. So it's like this evaluation of what needs to go, what needs to be destroyed, and how, you know, very carefully, right? Because a bull isn't necessarily the most, well, they're pretty darn graceful, but they can also be, you know, the bull in the china shop. Yeah. So this is like, you know, being careful making plans, right? Holding power. This is what's going on in your subconscious. And these colors here are all over here. And this, you know, I see the Two of Wands. Some, you know, if other things are in this, in the reading are saying so, that it can be a twin flame. And this is, you know, this is something that changes you at a cellular level, right? This kind of, and that's one of the reasons that I think, you know, this agape love showing up here, that this is something that, you know, a twin flame kind of, and I'm sorry if that triggers you. Think about it if it triggers you, right? Why does that trigger you? Is it the name itself? Right? So what? Right? You know, it's like, I'm not going to go into all that. But, you know, this is coloring this person's clothes, right? They're the same colors. It's what, that's like what's going on internally is causing all the chaos, all the, you know, everything that's happening, right? There's this bridge here. And it's, you know, it's like this man is pondering, do I go towards the fire? Do I go towards the smoke? Or do I go back in the other direction? And you know which way he's got to go, right? I mean, he's burning. He's got the flames on his jacket here. He's got to go towards the fire. That's, you know, this is happening. This is like internal combustion. Internal combustion. There's like all this power that's being charged up here. I'm just amazed at how the colors like really come through in both of these. I feel like there's something else there. Maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, this has changed you. Yeah, the inner alchemy, and is causing outer alchemy as well. And that this Two of Fire is touching this priestess here. Which once again, this is making me feel like there's this psychic connection. There's also this sense that there are secrets, right, that are coming up to the surface. There are things, subconscious thoughts that are coming up to the surface for healing, right? Anything that anytime you're getting triggered right now, right, by family, by friends, you know, somebody says something to you and you get triggered, it's coming up for healing. So take a step back at those points in time. And sometimes, I mean, like, I've had an outburst. And I feel like it was just meant to be. I did a video on, or I'm doing a video on that. So you might want to look into that if that happens. There's a reason for it. So trust anything that comes up at this time. But yeah, I feel like this is about, you know, taking a pause, looking at what all that's happened, right? And that's what he's doing here. Look at all that's transformed, all that's fallen away. You know, really feel into it. That what can you learn from it, right? And how can you safely move forward? Lovingly carrying those eggs for the future, right? What you want to build, what you want to create. Being you, right? This is like the new you. And then in the future, we have the Jester of Tides, the Page of Cups. And that, you know, this is forgiveness. Forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others. This is a return to innocence, right? Because this is quite the serious spread here. Quite the serious spread. Yeah, and you're being very serious. You're very, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you're, this Three of Tides it tends to be about joy, right? About frivolity. And that's how I feel with this. There's this need to return to more innocent times, more playful times, curious about what's to come, right? This is the card of surprises, communication, about love. Like I said, I feel like, as soon as I saw this, that's what this is clarity. I picked it up, so maybe that's something too, right? There's like this, getting the nerve up. We see all the chakras in line here. The spine is being pronounced here. And then, this dolphin here. I always get playful, soulmate kind of love vibes from the dolphin. And the dragonfly is, clarity of where you're going, dreams. I feel like that's all I need to say about that. I feel like Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that. All right. Let's get a piece of art for Taurus, please. December 7th through the 20th. Okay, I feel like it wants to stay there. To the right. Yep, Song of the Wayland. And this is like all that destruction, and then we see these wings here taking off from the destruction. I feel like these little tendrils here are like lessons learned. I also get, I think about the heart chakra and God, what are they called? They're threads that connect you with spirit. So I feel like you're being connected with spirit through all of the destruction that's gone on, right? And this I see as this portal. Getting back to basics, which is what I feel like you're doing here with the Seven of Gardens. Looking over all the change. Getting it down to the basics, because that's how we're going to move forward.